internet of value at Ripple, we're thinking much bigger than just cross-border payments. It's kind of like Amazon with rare books in the early days, just this market happens to be a $10 trillion market.
We are at a historic turning point.
Said in the past that you are doing for money what email did for communication.
Moving the whole revolution forward.
Take on it.
There's trillions of dollars parked around the world. XRP.
Is there a possibility that Ripple could take over SWIFT one day?
Well,
welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of 24 Hours of Crypto. Let's get right into today's video. Wow, Rosie Rios just coming out here and letting us know that we're about to get clarity. And listen, she knows a lot more than we know. And she's not going to come out here and make everything public. But you got to listen closely. And we know the clarity is about to come in. And we know the floodgates are about to open. And in today's video, we are going to go over why XRP is going to hit $100. And then what's the next target? 200, 300, 400, 500 cap. I'm going to stop at 500. I'm not going to entertain anything else. I'm going to give you the small picture. I'm going to have industry experts, go ahead and cue some videos between I speak as I relay this information over to you. But just understand, something like this has never happened before. And if you can't think this big, just click off the video right now because you're not going to indulge how much value is going to come in here. Okay, it is just absolutely insane. We're going to get into a montage by Rosie Rios, Ripple, what they're projecting for. And Rosie Rios has been a part of Ripple for a very long time now. As you guys could see, she is still the current board member. And we even have this individual, never forget, Warren Jensen, board member. Previously, he was the CFO for Amazon, CFO for Electronic Arts, CFO for Delta Airlines, CFO for NBC. I need a glass of water. And remember, don't forget Sandy O'Connor, right? Board of directors at BNY Mellon, board of directors at Ripple. Previously worked at JP Morgan for 31 years. Currently, she's a part of their Systemic Resolution Advisory Committee member. These guys aren't here just to have fun. And listen and just take a look at this before I get into it. Look at this. Special guest at Bitcoin 2025, the skull of Satoshi, donated by Ripple. Donated by Ripple to the Bitcoin community. That's some scary stuff, folks. That's some scary stuff. I mean, listen, I'm not going to entertain this, but one day Bitcoin is going to see its day. Okay? Everything does. It's going to see its day. And this being donated by Ripple and what I'm about to present with XRP, wow. Let's get it, Rosie.
Momentum that clarity is going to happen now for the very first time.
Crypto has been in the news time and time again, and I just want to share that I am on the board of Ripple. Ripple is XRP. And so when people ask me the question, why did you join the board of Ripple? I joined the board of Ripple because XRP serves a purpose. It's a function that facilitates cross-border payments. It's not some store of value kind of arbitrary payments. It's not some store of value kind of arbitrary.
I don't know Bitcoin, Ethereum. Again, I don't know what the driver of value is there. I think, in fact, when you look at Bitcoin, the initial adoption of Bitcoin is all about retail, and that didn't pan out. And suddenly you have millions of people who hold it. They're just going to hold it. So what's become the use case for Bitcoin is just a store of value, and I think that will persist. And somehow they landed on that, and that's maybe going to persist into the future.
It's not some store of value kind of arbitrary.
Yeah, I mean, if XRP is going to be inserted deeply into the financial system, the market cap has to be orders of magnitude bigger. It has to be able to support institutional flows in the orders of magnitude of trillions of dollars.
This is actually what legitimate financial institutions use specifically for cross-border payments. So instead of days and dollars, it's seconds and cents. And that is the future, in my opinion.
Cases that price is going to go up. No, look,
and how far away
the honest answer is I don't know Bitcoin, Ethereum. Again, I don't know what the driver of value is there. But XRP, it's really about this very fundamental driver of demand. Yeah, I mean, if XRP is going to be inserted deeply into the financial system, the market cap has to be orders of magnitude bigger. It has to be able to support institutional flows in the orders of magnitude of trillions of dollars.
Because XRP serves a purpose. It's not some store of value, kind of arbitrary.
Determines the value of an XRP, because I mean, right now it's trading just a little between 0.005, and it was at 1.6 cents. So what's controlling the underlying value of the currency? Is it supply and demand, or
it's strictly supply and demand, and that demand is just up entirely to market forces to determine what that is. I think long term, though, it is this notion that the primary use is to be something that enables market making, which is really helping to facilitate medium of exchange. And we think that's probably, like any currency or any thing of value, probably the most important kind of source of demand. And again, that's long term as more and more folks come on the protocol.
Man, this skull is still it's insane. Just the fact that Ripple donated it and their XRP digital asset, the people that know, my goodness, let's cut the fluff. Okay, let's just say that. When XRP's market cap is $1 trillion, the real question you should be asking yourself is, can it support a $30 trillion in tokenized assets, stablecoin settlements, and global financial flows? And right off the bat, I'll tell you right now, absolutely not. And yet some people still think XRP at $10 or at $20 is the ceiling price. But you gotta wake up. And I'm gonna walk you through it with facts, not hype, not hopium, just pure institutional math. At $1 trillion market cap, XRP, again, we're gonna use this $5 billion round number, okay? At $1 trillion market cap, XRP could realistically support 200 high value $5 billion transactions per day. That's $1 trillion in daily settlement flows. And we know we're going to see trillions in daily volume, and they even know that.
Every element of doing this in a regulated environment takes some time and takes some effort and takes some coordination and takes a lot of work in terms of standards and standard setting as well. So, for me, I'm really excited to see how this tech is going to really massively scale over the next few years into many trillions of volume and scale on a daily basis.
Roger. But let's scale this to the future where we're actually heading towards. The stablecoin market alone is forecasted to reach 3 to 5 trillion. And remember what I said about XRP's market cap has to be a lot higher just to absorb all that. And don't forget, tokenized US treasuries, bonds, real estate, FX, equities, derivatives. We're staring at a $30 to $50 trillion in daily flows, right? Hello. And just look at the way they tell you this. This is actually so big.
Reservoir. And I am going to struggle to convey just how much capital there is behind this regulatory dam. Reservoir. And I am going to struggle to convey just how much capital there is behind this regulatory dam. Because the numbers are just monumental, right? How much money is there? Well, let's start with the most liquid of the liquid, right? Bank deposits, stocks, and bonds. $400 trillion. There's another 379 trillion in real estate, right? Gold is 13 trillion by itself. And then you get to the entire crypto ecosystem is like 2.5 trillion, right? I'm not going to say all of this money is going into crypto, but quite a lot of it will end up in crypto, and a huge amount of it is going to end up in tokenized digital assets.
Let's go deeper. If banks, funds, and remember, sovereign entities are moving 5 billion, anywhere between 5 billion to 50 billion, let's just say, blocks on demand, you have to counter in that XRP must remain liquid at scale, withstand volatility, provide certainty in pricing, and that's going back to predictability. And you got to bridge multiple networks without delays, and it must do that thousands of times a day. And remember that video that we played where I said we're going to do billions of transactions, right, from the Finternet, from the BIS Innovation Hub? That means XRP's market cap has to expand with the system it's supporting.
And it is important to do so now when the technology is mature enough to use, but before we get locked into rigid institutional frameworks or walled gardens erected by large financial institutions or by big tech companies. We have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to revisit the architecture of the financial system. We have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to revisit the architecture of the financial system.
And now here's where the big numbers come in. At a $5 trillion XRP market cap, it can support, give or take, 1,000 high-value $5 billion transactions per day. At a $10 trillion XRP can do about 2,000 $5 billion settlements each day. That's the level we need for a real-time global liquidity engine. And here's what most people completely misunderstand XRP. They love to say, you know, it settles in 3 to 5 seconds. Yes, and it's great, but they don't understand what that really means. It's not just about speed. It's about what happens after that speed. When that 10 billion transaction settles in 5 seconds, was there enough XRP liquidity on both sides, right? What was there any sort of slippage? What was the volatility like? And of course, going back to the whole having a trusted bridge, a compliant, there's so many pillars you got to fill in, right? And you got to remember, it's going to do that 365 every day. Remember, once this money comes in, ladies and gentlemen, it's done. It is done. It's going to slowly start scaling. And that's why I call this a multi-year bull market for these tokens that are going to be plugged in to the financial system. You cannot do all of this at $1 trillion market cap forever. As volume scales, XRP will scale with it. And if it doesn't, the system will break. That's why it's taking almost, let's just say 15 years to get all this going. And if you're sitting there laughing, ha ha ha, wow, like 15 years, who's got time? Like, you're a joke. This is the stock market 2.0. This is a foundation being laid out right in front of you that is going to outlive you. It's going to be handed over to your grandkids. And it's funny because there's going to be so many adults in the room in the future. Like, Daddy, why are we so poor? Because I didn't buy crypto. Realistically, that's literally what it is. We're at ground zero. We are at ground zero, and people are okay. And so when I say anywhere between $100 to a $500 XRP, in the future is definitely reasonable. $100 XRP, 100%. That's like give or take less than $30 trillion, $30 trillion, $20 trillion, $15 trillion market capitalization for XRP it means nothing when the token itself, the liquidity it's providing and running that infrastructure. And that's exactly what these, financial world needs. So this is not a wish. I'm not coming out here and wishing for XRP to go to $100. It's going to do it organically. And you guys heard the montage. You guys heard industry experts throughout this video. We're on the cusp of it. And this is why you're early. This is why most people still don't get it. They're still focused on this 3-second settlement thing in 2025. You're watching the architecture of the global liquidity being rebuilt in real time, and people want to wonder why it's taking so long. Just ask yourself that. That's kind of crazy. You're like, yeah, you know what? That makes sense. The whole architecture of the global liquidity is being rebuilt. The $27 trillion that you used to have locked up dormant, sitting, doing nothing is about to get freed up. And on top of that, you're getting everything tokenized. Oh my goodness, this is absolutely insane just talking about it. And, $100 XRP, $200 XRP, it's not bullish. It's just basic infrastructure math. And every time someone doubts it, they expose how little they understand about what's coming. Just all you could do is just stay quiet, do whatever you want. Some people, it's you can't even talk to them about it. It goes right over their head. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I do appreciate every single one of you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. But remember, we're using this 5 billion as a round number. We could dissect it way more, but that would be absolutely insane. That would probably take me a week to really dissect everything. Okay, really get this wouldn't even be spoon feeding. It would be worse. We'll be back with another episode.
They told us dream small, but we had the stars in mind. While they chased hype, we studied time. In the noise we found the signal. Brad times bend, ripple flow into the end. Truth is quiet, bold and deep. We salute the ones who lose no sleep. Salute to the minds that built this chain. Salute, salute through the trials, through the pain. Salute, salute to the calm, to the wise. Salute 100 in our eyes. Bitcoin maxis yell on stage, stuck in loops they call belief, while XRPL just clears the way. No delay, no grief. They hoard coins like dusty gold, but we got utility in every fold. The future ain't loud, it's steady breathing. Real ones know what's worth believing. It ain't hype, it's code and soul. We salute the ones who see the whole. Salute to the builders, to the flow. Salute, salute where the real ones choose to go. Salute, salute to the heart, to the plan. Salute, XRP will lead the land. Value don't lie, and truth don't shake. Let the whole world break, we remake. Strategic reserve, written in stars. XRP gonna take us far. So here's to the signal, clear and bright. To the dreamers who held on tight. No matter the storm, no matter the fight. Salute, we rise with the light.
We started building RippleNet with the thesis that crypto liquidity would eventually be able to support robust global payments, large payments. RippleNet was designed so that customers seeing the benefits of our fiat-based network could flip the switch to ODL once the market was mature enough. And this is exactly what's happening. Flip the switch.
I think what we're building has, it's solving a real problem. And I think all of the tokens, my advice to anybody would be, understand the utility. If there's real utility and there's real value being delivered to a real customer, there will be value in the token.